Hey folks, it's James Thomas. Let's talk about dealing with change. Some people find change exciting and exhilarating, an opportunity for adventure and for growth. But why is change so painful sometimes? I'll start with an illustration from something that we all have in common, our human bodies. You got one? I have one too. Now our bodies like to maintain homeostasis, a constant temperature and metabolism. Anytime there's a change in our environment, we feel it until our bodies can manage to adapt. Like when the temperature changes, from fall to winter and then from winter to spring, our bodies try to get comfortable and usually succeed within a couple of weeks. That's why we're piling clothes on in the fall when the temperature drops to 50 degrees. And then later in the spring when the temperature rises to 50 degrees, we're peeling clothes off. It's the same temperature, but our bodies have decided to recognize a new normal, and they let us know when they're outside of their comfort zone. It's the same thing with exercise. If we start a new exercise routine, our bodies make the changes needed to cope with that new level of exertion. But if we continue that same routine for a few weeks, it ceases to be challenging. We no longer gain any cardiovascular fitness or strength. That level of exercise has become our new normal, and we need to either push ourselves harder or try a different type of exercise in order to coax our bodies to rise to a new challenge. How does this relate to dealing with change? It just illustrates that in our deepest psyche, we as humans are resistant to change. Anytime we experience change in our environment, our minds try to assimilate that, to make sense of it and to accommodate it within a new normal. Often this is painful. Sometimes it is so emotionally painful for people that they avoid change at all costs. Even changes that need to happen, like starting a new job after losing an old one, or watching a child move away and go to college, can be painful. Here's another example. Rather than facing the pain of ending a relationship, some people will remain friends with someone who drives them nuts or drags them down spiritually. One of the most painful things about change is the fear of the unknown. As long as everything is controlled and constant, we really have nothing to fear. But when things start changing, we feel vulnerable, out of control, and apprehensive about what might happen. Now, having a heads up for what might happen, or demystifying change, can take a lot of the pain out of it. So let's demystify change. Let's fortify ourselves and prepare ourselves for dealing with change by realizing the following. Our routines will change. If we start a new job, that comes with a change in many routines. If we have a new baby, especially if it's a first child, our routines are dramatically altered. We need to accommodate changes in routine. Our relationships will change. Our friends and family will have their own life experiences. They may move away. A coworker who we've spent 40 hours a week with for years may retire. We need to accommodate a change in our relationships. Our roles will change. If we have an elderly parent who falls ill, our role as a child will shift. If we have an adult child who gets married, our role as a parent shifts. We need to accommodate a shift in roles. Our assumptions, or what we think about life, may change. Depending upon our successes and failures, or what we perceive in our life as successes and failures, our assumptions about our self-worth can change. Our assumptions about a leader, or an organization, or a belief system can change as we grow older and learn more and experience more. We need to be ready for a change of assumptions, both in our own life and in the lives of those who are close to us. Anytime you are faced with a change, you can put it into a category. This helps us to deal with a change. Is the change planned or unexpected? Is it a positive change or a negative change? Being able to describe something allows us to demystify it and to take some of the pain out of it. When you're in a transition, ask yourself whether you're in the beginning of the transition, if you're in the thick of it, or if you're nearing the end of the transition. The answers to these questions will help you to decide how best to cope with the change. If change is really bothering us, we can do one of two things. We can try to modify the situation that's causing the pain, or we can modify the way we think about that situation. If we can modify the situation, great. For example, if an annoying coworker in the next cubicle is making your new job miserable, See if the boss will let you move to another location within the building. Or if we're in a new relationship and we're feeling stressed out about what the other person might think of us, we could ask them, how do I come across to you? Now sometimes we can't modify the situation. But if we can't modify the situation, at least we can modify the way we think about it. We can focus on the positive aspects of the transition that we're going through and emphasize those when we're talking to other people about the change. We can choose to lay aside the victim mindset and experience the change as an opportunity for adventure, for growth, and for self-improvement rather than a scary unknown. We can surround ourselves with the support system of friends, family, and other helps. Lots of organizations and institutions exist to help people through certain transitions. Think of student aid organizations, or meetings of people who are recovering from addictions, or support groups for parents with children who have autism. We can surround ourselves with people who affirm who we are, who have been through that type of transition themselves, and who will help us through the rough times. Finally, we need to have patience. Just as our bodies reach homeostasis and our heart rate returns back to normal after exercising, we will eventually become comfortable again following a life change. Don't be frustrated too quickly. Give it time. It can take months or years to settle into a new set of circumstances. So let your experience fill you with compassion for others who are undergoing change.
It's the